Hello everyone and welcome back to the studio here in Northumberland, and today I'm going to do an acrylic, but only a little one. I'm not going to fiddle about too much. I've got a small canvas here and I'm going to do kind of like a little vignette in the middle of that. A vignette, not vinaigrette. Okay, and I'm going to start off with a sky wash before I start doing any drawing whatsoever. And I've got cobalt blue here and titanium white. Cobalt blue, titanium white mixed together. Bit more white. The paints I'm using, of course, Dale Rowney System 3 acrylics. Fabulous colours, fabulous paint. I love them. Put that there. Whack it on. I'm humming. That's bad news when I start singing. Bit more white. A simple splash of sky. Bit more white. Few clouds. Like that. Not like that, just like that. Like that. And now, just get in with my finger and merge those in. Smooth it out. There. Isn't that easy? Just a little bit of sky. Do the same here. And now, I'll just give that a minute or two to dry. Doesn't need long, literally a couple of minutes. And then I'll stick the drawing in amongst it. Easy peasy. That'll do. So now, that's nearly dry, not quite. You can see there's a glisten. Come on, Gail, get it.
It's a break.
You can see there's a glisten there. It's not quite dry, but it's dry enough to do my drawing.
Okay.
Right, step back.
Can't see any glisten, but anyway, go on.
Now it's time for the reading glasses. And here's a little shed. This is just a little old barn. And it's about 100 yards from where I'm standing now. Just at the bottom of my field. Round the corner. That's the end of the roof. It's a little old barn. So it's falling down a bit. Don't have perfect straight lines on it. Wobbly roof, look. That's not my eyes. I'm doing that deliberately. Bit there. That's the barn done. But I'm going to have loads of ivy growing up it, which it has, lots of ivy. A bit more there actually. And there's a little doorway in there. And here, trees, bushy bits, it's there, and there's some bushy bits a lot further away. And here, it's got lots of grass. And now, a big old tree, which is ivy grown, coming up there. And up out to the top of the painting. I told you this one was going to be a simple one, didn't I? Look at that. Easy peasy, drawing done. Now that the drawing's done, I'm just going to use my number 8 brush to start with. And I've got a little bit of hooker's green. And a lot of raw sienna there, a lot of raw sienna into green. Bit more. Don't want any water in that, it's just a damp brush. I'm just stippling on there with the tip of my brush. Number 8 round brush, can't go wrong with those, perfect size. A number 10 can be too big, and a number 6 is definitely too small to be able to do everything I want with them. A number 8 is a perfect size. A bit there, just stippling. Now a little bit of raw sienna and Naples yellow mix. Bit of raw sienna there. Quite a bit in Naples yellow there. For a quick swathe of land just there. And bring that forward. And now, a little touch of cobalt blue. Just cobalt blue. We'll have some of that there in the trees to start with. Just a few dabs. Don't hit the end of my brush scale with your camera.
I'm just looking at that swathe.
Swathe?
Swathe.
Did I say swathe?
You said swathe.
Okay.
Gosh.
I probably meant bushy bits. Now, just touch on with my finger. Notice I cut my fingernails today. There. And across there. And that's the distance, very, very simply done. Now, I'm going to leave that for a second. I've got some lights to go on there in a minute, but I just want to let it dry for a little bit more. In the meantime, I'm going to come across to the shed here. A little bit of raw umber. And as I always say about raw umber, it's the only brown I carry in both acrylics and watercolours. So you've got your raw umber by itself, which is a lovely brown. Put a touch of blue into it, you've got sepia. Put a touch of burnt sienna into the sepia mix, you've got Van Dyke brown. Take your raw umber and burnt sienna together, you've got burnt umber. So I've got 4 different browns from one tube. It's such a versatile brown. Bit of raw umber there. Like so. And carefully around my door. Bring that down. And so far, I've only used 2 brushes. The 1.5 inch flat for the sky wash. And now my number 8 round for all these fiddly little bits. Because of course, as you know, I only use 4 brushes in total anyway. The 1.5 inch flat, which I use for the sky, the number 8 round, 3/4 inch flat, and the number 4 rigger. That's it. That's all the brushes I use. Now, into that raw umber here, I'm going to put a lot of raw sienna, so that I've got a much lighter version for there. Like so. So now you can tell that eventually the light is going to be coming from the left. Can you hear the pigeons cooing outside? Nice sound, that. And a bit more there. Just bashing it on. There'll be a lot of shadow in this afterwards as well. For the roof, I've got a little bit of burnt sienna there, and a little bit of Naples yellow into the burnt sienna, so I've brightened it. Like that. With the tip of the brush, and I want a bow in the roof. What do I mean? Bow?
Bow. Yeah, bow.
Yeah, one of them. In other words, the roof is knackered. Put that down. And there'll be more colours to go in that in a minute, when that's dried a bit. In the meantime, we go back to those trees over there and get a little bit of light into them, just with Naples yellow. pop it on like that. A few bits there. And a few bits up here. Don't want to go mad with that. Now, just tap on. And instantly got a bit of light in those bushy trees. Of course, when I started this film, I should have said Happy New Year. But then again, I don't know what time of year you're going to be watching it. But today, it's the first week of January 2023. There, bit of lighting though. I'm going back to raw umber now, still with my round brush. And I'm just going to have some bits of stonework in there, look. You're not building this thing, so don't do thousands of stones. Just a few will indicate that it's stonework without going mad. Just a few strokes. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now with the raw umber again, but this time raw umber and a touch of Payne's Grey. I've darkened it. Just going to try and not get my hand on the painting. So I'm just going to put a few strips in here. Like so. Again, with the tip of my number 8 round brush. Simple, isn't it? Now I'm going to wash my brush out and just soften some of those, just with a clean, ever so slightly damp brush. And remember, there's nothing perfect or straight about this building. It's a knackered old building. Should I say knackered?
Yeah.
No, I did anyway. And I'll leave that now. Now, a little bit of Payne's Grey, just inside the doorway. Like so. And I shall pop a bit more in the top there. That's better. Now there's a little bit of light to go on there in a minute, once it's dried a bit. Now, to this tree here. But actually, I'm just looking at those. I don't quite like what happened with those, so I'm just going to drop a little bit more green there. That's better. There. I took some paint off with my finger. Now I've just reinstated it. That's better. That tree there, a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, sorry. Again, hooker's green, but this time, burnt sienna. That's a darker green. But the same process as I did over there. Just tap on. Now carefully around the edge of my shed. And again, tap. And because this green is that much stronger, you see how it takes over from those there. And again, carefully up to the shed. and cobalt blue this time. Just cobalt blue. Actually, I said just cobalt blue. I'm going to put a bit of Payne's grey in it. I want it darker. So cobalt blue and a touch of Payne's grey there. Pop a bit there, look. Where the shed meets the bush. There. Bit there. There. And finally, a few hints of light on that as well, with again Naples yellow. Just a few touches. A few bits there. And tap it with my finger. Don't rub, just dab. Squash some lumps. Now, still with my number 8 round brush, I've got hooker's green, a lot of burnt sienna, and a touch of Payne's grey. More green there. Touch of Payne's grey. So it's a very dark, rich green. And I don't want any water in this brush either. So what I'm doing, split the brush. I'm not going to hurt this. Look, I've made a real mess of it. These things will stand any amount of hammer and abuse. They get abused like this every day of their life. All I'm doing, look, stipple. Now I've been really hard with the brush in the palette, but I'm being really gentle with the brush on the canvas. Because you can imagine, if I were to hit that hard, it would close the brush up again. There. Keeping the brush split. Like so. Now, Payne's grey and burnt sienna, so I've made a black. Payne's grey, burnt sienna, bit more Payne's grey, there we go, and I've got a black. Don't use manufactured black, it's horrible, flat and dead. Again, split the brush. Nice and split. So I've got some strong darks in there. There. Now, Naples yellow. I'll grab a little bit of Naples yellow out of the squeezing out there. And again, split the brush. Just lifts it and lightens it. Like so. There. I just want to go in with a little bit of Naples yellow, just on that side of the door there. Like so. Just highlights the door. Now, for the shadow on the building, I'm going to have Payne's grey and violent violet, or commonly known as deep violet. Nice dark rich colour, but it's warm as well. Now, I'm giving the feel of a corrugated roof on this. The easiest way to make that look like a corrugated roof is to, when I put the shadow underneath the roof, look, instead of putting a line of shadow, push the brush up like that. Not like that, just like that. See? So it's wobbly. Now, straighten that there. See? Easy peasy. Now, obviously, shadow would be cast by the ivy onto the building. Like so. Now I'm going to soften that a little bit as well. Clean that brush. Just on the outer edge. And I'll have a little bit of shadow down here as well. And finally on the shot, a little bit of Naples yellow. Just on here, look. Now, soften that down. There, that's the shed done. That wasn't difficult, was it? Now, to the big tree, again, Hooker's green, a lot of burnt sienna, and a touch of Payne's grey, but not quite as dark as I've got it there. I had it for the initial wash there. Split my brush. Just stippling up, keeping the brush split. I've got some more swathes coming up in a minute, but Gail.
That's the one.
Is that you?
That's the current camera woman. Might not be for much longer if you keep getting my name wrong.
Okay. Now, Payne's grey, very much like I did with the ivy. Payne's grey. Split the brush. A little bit stronger, I think. Keeping that brush split all the time. Nice and dark up there, look. Like so. Now, there's a little bit of raw umber and titanium white. Bit of that. And some white into it. Just a bit of white. Bring that up. Just make sure that's dry. Bring that up there. All. You notice how much of this painting I've done with the number 8 round brush. Just about all of it, apart from the sky. Things will change any minute now when we get some more swathes. Did I tell you we've got some more swathes coming? Yeah.
You did mention swathes.
Okay.
You like a bit of swathe?
What's wrong with swathes?
It's not swathes, it's swathes.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you've just been pedantic.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a bit like predictive text, you are. Or should I say, auto cucumber? Bit there. Bringing that down carefully there. And a little bit there. Now, I'm going to get a bit of Payne's grey. Just a bit of Payne's grey. Down the right hand side there. Tiny tip of my number 8 round brush. And by the way, It's number 8 round brush. It's still the same brush that I've just knocked hell out of to create the ivy. And look, it goes back to give me a lovely fine point. A bit up there. Dip in again. There. Now, just with my damp brush, clean damp brush, just going to soften that in a little bit. There's not too many hard edges on that. Now, a few touches of Naples yellow. And obviously I've just put the dark down the right hand side of that tree trunk. So I'm going to put the Naples yellow down the left hand side. Just a few bits, capture the light. Symbols. Again, clean down brush. And just soften in a little bit there. While I'm in with Naples yellow, again, split the brush. And so from Naples yellow to the left hand side and coming in a bit of the ivy. There. There. It's swathes time, Gail. Now, for once, I'm going to use my 3/4 inch flat brush. And I've got a little bit of hooker's green and raw sienna, like so. A bit more green. Hooker's green and raw sienna. Bit of water into that, don't want too much. That's some grassy coloured green coming down here. Grassy coloured green. I know what I mean. Down the side of the brush as well. See that? The side of the brush. Flick up. Swathe.
Good swathe, that one.
Now a little bit of hooker's green and burnt sienna. Burnt. Again, no water in the brush. And flick up now, look. A few flicks there. Now I'm going to get in with my finger and just merge. Now a little bit of Naples yellow. Still with the 3/4 inch brush. And just haphazardly drop a few bits. You like that? Haphazardly?
A haphazard swathe.
Again, with my finger. There. So I've got 3 different tones of green mixed in there. And now just to finish that off, I need a little bit of shadow from the shed onto the gloss. So violet, paint spray. I'm just going to touch the base of the shed first and then drag that down. Look. A little bit of that. And now that tree would cast a bit of a shadow on the shed. Like so. And soften that in. And there we go, folks. Abandoned shed. And there we go. Finished picture. I told you this one wouldn't be too difficult, didn't I? The brushes that I use, strictly speaking, as always, are my watercolour brushes. Aquafine watercolour brushes. And I've got the 4, 1.5 inch flat, 3/4 inch flat, number 8 round, and a number 4 rigger. But like I say, because they are so hard wearing, I mean, you saw how I abused that number 8 round brush. Because they're so hard wearing, they will last for years. And strictly speaking, watercolour, but they're good for watercolour and acrylics, as you've just seen. The paints that I'm using, System 3, Dale Around System 3. These are so inexpensive. I think on my website, these are £2.70 a tube. Is it £2.70?
I think, yes.
Yeah. On the website, charlesevans.com is the website. You can get all the stuff that I'm using on the website, charlesevans.com. The canvases, that canvas that I've just used is a stretch canvas, but we sell some really nice Dale Around canvas panels. And it's the same surface, same texture as is on there, but it's on a panel. A lot of people don't like a stretch canvas. I'll do that bit again, you're going to have to edit that, sorry. I was looking at you.
Just keep going.
A lot of people don't like a stretch canvas because you've got that bounce. On there, you've got no bounce because it's a panel, but it's the same canvas on there. Lovely things. A few books on acrylics. Acrylics for the absolute beginner. And that just kind of like, it does what it says on the can. Takes you all the way through, start to some fairly complex paintings in there. Acrylics for the absolute beginner. Or Painting with System 3. That was the last acrylic book that I did. That came out middle of last year. And it covers the whole range of System 3. They are fabulous paints. And it shows you how to do several projects within it. Of course, if you don't want to paint on paper, on canvas, use your watercolour paper. Because that's what I use when I'm doing acrylics on paper. I use my normal watercolour paper, the Langton Rough 140 gram weight. Sorry for a couple of gaffes in this. I'm thinking ahead before I'm speaking. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one. If you're on Twitter, follow me on at Charles Evans Art. The website is charlesevans.com, and that's where I've got all the stuff for sale. Lovely to see you. Take care. Bye bye.